Good to see everybody. Sam, Taylor, Farah, Brittany, Nathan, Jennifer, Christian, what's up, buddy? Apparently, it is just me today. George let me know that he could not make it. So I will do my best to be entertaining. And we're not going to dive into the market updates unless Cherie or Jen wants to take care of that or Sam wants to take care of that. But at least we can go over some mortgage updates and make sure that you all have the information you need and go from there. Sound bueno?
That sounds great. Thank you.
Cool. And I think we might be a little light on the meeting today. That everybody concur? As far as attendees?
Yeah, we have a light crowd today, but it's recorded, and Louis posts them in our Slack channel for all of our trainings. So a lot of people like to watch it back if they're out on appointments today. So
awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, then I will jump in and just get started and get rocking and rolling. There's not a ton to go over, but first and foremost, want to let everybody know that I am leaving today. I'm going to be gone for 10 days, going to Paris, France with my wife for our 20-year anniversary, which was actually last year. But we just had so much going on that we had to postpone it a year, which is funny because now we have more going on this year than we had last year. But if we don't go, we'll never go. So anyways, I'm leaving today, 2 p.m. and I will be back in my office Friday morning, bright and early on the 15th. So in the meantime, Taylor Clower, who's more than available, and you know, I'm not sure how many of you guys have talked to and worked with Taylor directly, but he's incredibly skilled. Like he's been with me for 8 years. The guy's phenomenal. I think most everybody's talked to him. So he can, and I think a lot of you understand that it's really almost like talking to me, probably a better version of me, actually. So if you need anything at all, Taylor can help out. Call him, email, text him. I'm assuming everybody has his contact information. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, and he's in our FUB.
Okay, cool. Yep, and he's on
Yep.
Follow Up Boss.
Yep.
As if you text or do a Follow Up Boss or an email, please, please, please make sure that you put Taylor on there. And even if I wasn't gone, that's always the best practice, is putting Taylor on everything, because you know, there's gonna be lots of times where I'm in a meeting or I'm out, you know, traveling to this office or that office, and he's the one manning the ship. So please make sure you add him to all things mortgage, and he will make sure that he's getting back. Also, we are bringing on another loan coordinator. His name's Steve Kaufman. He's actually been with PGS Home Loans for the last 7 years. He's been a loan officer, and we go way back together, back in the early 2000s. Phenomenal guy. I'll be rolling that out like a month from now, but it's just going to be that much more support. And the reason why that's important is because the follow-up on all of these leads is going to intensify and be even greater, and we're going to track it even harder. So super excited about that, hopefully to increase our conversions and give you guys more pre-approved clients to work with. That is the big goal. So anyways, more to come there. Let's talk rates. Let's talk about what's going on in this crazy market and what you guys are seeing and what that means for buyers, etc. So let me just share my screen really quick. Everybody should be able to see the mortgage-backed security bond market. Everybody got that in front of them? Cherie's nodding, Jen's nodding. Awesome. Okay, so here's the deal. As we all know, interest rates change every single day based on the movement of the mortgage-backed security bond market, right? Every single one of these bars is 1 day in market conditions. If it's red, that means the market's getting worse, like the bond is going down, which means rates are going up. And if it's green, meaning the bond is going up, that means rates are going down. So this is where we were at the beginning of the year. You can see my little graph. This is January. This is December 28th. So right around the beginning of the year, rates got worse. They got a little better, then worse, a little bit better, a lot worse. And it's been kind of fighting in this 100 basis point swing every day, right? And see these little lines right here? these are called moving averages. And these lines become either a ceiling of resistance, meaning it's actually hard or difficult for the bond to break through that level and improve, or it becomes a floor of resistance. As you can see, all of these are basically parked on that line and become, the stop that makes rates from going below. You can see where we have a pretty wide trading range right here, and that means rates can be very volatile when the trading ranges are so wide. We've really gotten squeezed down to this little area. So rates are going up or down every single day. The last 1, 2, 3, 4 days has been kind of a positive trend, but we're right up against this bar, and that's going to be a tough one to break through, depending on economic news. And then if we get through that one, then we have this bar up here and another bar right here. So long story short, interest rates from the beginning of the year are about a half a point to 0.625% higher than we started the year. Okay. All of this has to do with all the economic data. The biggest ones, of course, continue to be inflation, which the last 2 inflationary reports came out not in our favor, which means inflation hasn't been subsiding. And I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the news at all, but even the Federal Reserve said, hey, we were planning on raising or decreasing the Fed fund rate by 3 or 4 different times this year. Now they're down to 2 or 3 times, and they won't be doing anything towards the end of the year now. So long story short, the reason why I bring that up is continue to be careful about how you advise your clients on how quickly they can refinance after buying. Okay. I can't stress that enough. It's a liability issue. And if someone has, and remember, and clients do this every single day, they will misconstrue what you say. They will misinterpret what you say. They'll purposely sometimes twist what you say to try to use it in their favor. So just be very clear that when you're talking about the whole strategy of, hey, buy now, or what is it? Marry the house, date the rate. All right, well, you might be dating for a while. So just make sure you're not sitting there saying, oh, in 6 months, you can refinance this thing, get out of the loan. You can find yourself in a lot of hot water if you do that. So interest rates, we think they're going to improve. The supposed industry experts that we talk to or listen to, think they're going to improve as well, but it's definitely not a guarantee. Make sense? Any questions on interest rates and how that works? How many people actually check the weekend rate sheets? Show of hands. Anybody? Okay. That should, if you guys are checking that thing, I think, and maybe I'm not a realtor, maybe I'm just some knucklehead loan officer who doesn't know what he's talking about, but just if you get into a conversation about rates with a client, to me, it seems like a pretty good tool of going in and saying, hey, this is about where rates are, just to help guide people so they don't have a misconception of what's going on. So anyways, rate sheets. Really quickly too, because I've had some questions about what loan programs we're able to do, and I just wanted to cover a couple things. We did a great lunch and learn the other day on just loan programs alone. Just so you guys know, as mortgage brokers, we have almost every single loan program out there. Okay. If there's a loan program that exists, chances are we have it. So little things like home equity lines of credit. Of course, we can do those. I'm always going to refer someone to a big box bank where they have a better rate and lower cost and fees. That's one of the only products where, we're not going to be the best. However, we are going to be the best when it comes to HELOCs if someone is getting denied by a bank. Okay. So that's HELOCs. Bank statement loans, just so everybody's aware, mortgage brokers are the best, period. There's nobody better at all. It's not a sales pitch, just how it is on bank statement loans. I've got over 50 lenders that do bank statement loans, and we can do everything from 3 months bank statements, 6 months bank statements, 9, 12, 18, 24-month bank statements. Okay. Just know this about bank statement loans. Guidelines are changing all the time. Back in 2022, Most banks pulled back from a 10% down bank statement loan. We have that again. So they can do 10% down, 15% down, 20% down. Just know this about bank statement loans. The less you put down, the higher the rate, the more the cost and fees, period. It's for every single lender across the board. That's just how it is. But still, we're going to be the most competitive out there when it comes to bank statement loans. USDA loans, believe it or not, go to Fallbrook, go to not Marietta, Ramona, these outskirts. If you guys have any clients that don't have any money for a down payment, let's talk about living out in the sticks, because you can do 100% financing and you can get a credit from sellers to help cover closing costs. We just closed a USDA loan out in East Marietta where they literally got into the home with $2,000 out of pocket. It's not a down payment assistance program. It's a USDA loan. It's a phenomenal 100% financing loan. So if you have anybody without money, hey, let's go live that country life. It's great out there, right? Cherie, you had a question?
Yeah. So can you just tell us really quickly, because I wasn't able to make your lunch and learn last time. So
It
for
was
the
awesome.
USDA, what are the requirements? Does it go by number of like the acreage or how far apart homes are? Like, how can we know if we can even talk to them about that?
Yeah, great question. So number one, it doesn't have anything to do with the size of the lot. There is something called USDA Ag, which is a different category, and really none of your clients would be into that. That's more for like farming type situations. But USDA, there's only a couple qualifying factors. Yes, there are income limits, and your income limits are dependent upon how many people live in your house, right? The zip code. And then if you have any disabled people living in your home or any elderly over 62, how many kids under 18. So there's like 5 questions that I have to ask or answer. And it goes by household income. So if you're married, and let's say you as a individual make 150K and your spouse makes 70K, well, you can't say, hey, keep my spouse off this loan so I can qualify. They've got their ways. They know when someone's working and how much money they're making. It goes by household income. So, and the biggest thing is there's something called the USDA eligibility map. And this map is super important because it's not like perfect squares that people can go buy a home in. That map line is zigzaggy and it goes all over the county. And it'll dip in all the way to Fallbrook and it'll come back out to Bonsall and go over to what's it called? Ramona, rolls up into Marietta, kind of weaves in and out. You can have on one side of the street doesn't qualify for USDA, but the other side does. So the biggest thing is and by the way, it works on manufactured homes as well. Okay, so just a heads up. The biggest thing is that if you have someone who just doesn't have enough money, looking out in a more rural area, which really isn't that far away. Valley Center, it's far, but it's not that far, right? It's an option. And if you're trying to be creative as agents and trying to create ways to get people into homes, the most important thing for people to understand is they just got to buy something. I did a video this morning and it was talking about the importance of buying a home when you're young, right? Or it was actually a rent versus buy. I'm sorry. We did a bunch of videos, but that was one of them. Rent versus buy. And the most important things about considering renting versus buying is not, how much appreciation you're going to get, how much equity gain, what's your tax write-offs and deductions, all these different things we always consider. It's, do you want to retire someday? Because let me tell you, if you get to 65, 75, 85, and if you live long enough to 95, and you're still paying rent, that rent never goes away. How are you going to pay that when you're 75 and 85 years old, 95 years old? How are you going to just keep paying rent? It ain't going down, right? So rent might be $3,000 a month right now. What is it 35 years from now? If you never bought a house, you never got in the game. Like, people need to think about that stuff. That's a big deal. Anyways, that's my soapbox. Other loan programs, all kinds of things. Foreign national, asset depletions, income allocation. There's so many different loan programs. If you guys have something, reach out. we can do it. There's going to be certain programs that like credit union might have that we don't have. For example, Navy Federal Credit Union has a 100% financing conventional loan, right? Or Mission Fed, SDCCU, or any of those, and they seem to come and go as they fill their coffers, where they have their 5-5 programs or 5-1 programs or 10-1 programs. Well, they push those hard and their rates are great for a while. They fill their coffers, they get too much business, they take on too much risk, and they start raising the rates so those things aren't super competitive. So you're always going to see those come and go. But if you guys have any sticky situations, give us a call, shoot us an email, shoot me a text message. Hey, here's this person's scenario. Do you have something for it? Chances are we do. That's it. That's all I got for today. Any add-ons? Sheree, Jen, Mike?
No questions for Josh today?
I do.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting ready for an appointment and my hair's in a turban and nobody needs to see what I look like right now. Anyway, so I just want to just like kind of refresher on that 2-1 buy down. You know that I've been pushing like, you know, my one client that's working with you, he's coming to town next weekend. I just want to be like really like clear on it because there are some properties that have been sitting on the market. And, you know, since the rates kind of went up, they want to have a lower mortgage. So just to clarify, like, how do I get that number? Like, what is your process? I know you're just like, like, you're not a bother, but still, I just would love to know how you're getting that number.
Yep, absolutely. So here's the deal with the 2-1 buy down, and great question, Brittany. So the 2-1 buy down, it always comes down to what the interest rate is that day. Because remember, rates change daily. That's why you can't just have your own calculator. And then it also has to do with the loan amount, not the purchase price, the loan amount. Okay. So let me show you how this works right now. I'll share the screen. Boom. Here's the 2-1 calculator that Taylor and I keep on our desktop. Okay. So it starts out like this. If the loan amount is $474,050 and the rate's at 7.125, okay, you got a 1-0 buy down, a 1-1 buy down, and a 2-1 buy down, and even the 3-2-1 buy down. Well, based on this rate and that loan amount, your 2-1 buy down cost would be $11,112. Okay. The important pieces that you aren't going to have is the rate that day for their scenario. And the rate, of course, is always going to vary if it's FHA, conventional, VA, USDA, whatever. So that's why we always say, don't hesitate. Shoot us a text, shoot us an email. Hey, with a client right now, can you please look up this? Right. And obviously we do our absolute best to get back to you guys as quickly as possible. But those are the 2 items that we have to have. Now, if it's someone we haven't pre-approved yet and we don't know their credit scores and we don't know exactly, well, we can guess, right? Just don't hold us to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. How frequently are you seeing the 3-2-1 buy down?
I've only done, I think, 1 or 2 ever. And the reason why is because you can't do them on a VA loan, because VA loan is a max.
That's good to know.
Yeah. VA loan is a max of 4% seller credit or seller concession. And the 3-2-1 buy down, by the time you add in the fees, it's always more than the 4% until you get down to a rate of like 5.125. Okay. And then on conventional loans, you can go up to 9% seller concession. The more you put down, the more seller concession you can have. And then FHA loans, I believe, I don't have my guidelines in front of me, but I believe it's 3% max seller concession, which I could be wrong on that, but that's why you don't see the 3-2-1 buy down very often.
Okay, awesome.
And this
doesn't affect like and it doesn't affect like closing time or anything like that. Like this is all just basically in the contract. It's a seller credit. It's for, you know what I mean? Like that's it, right?
Yep, 100%. You can, it's all part of the same loan process. It really doesn't even matter to a lender if you do a 2-1 buy down or whatever, because all they're doing is taking the money that the seller's providing, put it into a kitty or a sub account, and they're using those funds to supplement the monthly payment, right? The interest rate, guys, actually isn't lower. So when we say the rate's 7.125 and 6.125 and 5.125%, that's not the actual rate. The rate's still the 7.125% in this example. All they're doing is they're taking the funds, putting it in the sub account, and the effective rate of drawing against those funds is what is giving them that lower payment. Does that help?
Got it. Yeah, totally. It's very clear. Sorry. I just always want to like, when I'm spieling people, because like, you know, our one offer is like 475, and then he was like, oh, maybe it's 470. And I was like, I just hate texting you all the time. But now I kind of like understand, like, you know, that's the amount of the loan versus, yeah, you, like you said, the listing price. So awesome, Josh. Thank you. Have fun in Paris.
Totally. Thank you so much. And then, hey, really quick too, Sam Biscuit. So let's see. I take that back. Hold on really quick. I was just going out. Nathan Shire. I apologize. I was saying Sam, but it's Nathan. We just funded back in January, leaving Nyhart. So I wanted to say thank you so much for Nathan for that one. Thomas, Patrice, and I, we've got Garcia going right now, and that one's going super, super smooth. So thank you, Thomas. Mark Fertini, he and I funded a client by the name of Wells. So thank you so much, Mark, and great job on that one. Who else did we have? Nathan Shire again. We've had this client, Marcus Mateo, great client. We got cleared to close on that one in 22 days, but and we're just sitting there waiting, going to the finish line. Christian Boubion had a great client. This is a huge one, you guys. There's something called an FHA spot approval. If you guys don't know what that means, what we do is we go through the process. This is during the purchase transaction, where if the condo complex is not FHA approved, we can get the one unit in that complex FHA approved. Okay. So this client, Julian Young, he actually came from Rocket Mortgage. Rocket could not do an FHA spot approval. We came in to save the day and got the spot approval within, I think, if Christian's on this phone, I think it was like 3 weeks from start to finish. Closed the loan in 23 days, I think it was, on an FHA spot approval. So big thanks to Christian Boubion. Any questions on spot approvals? Awesome. And then just wanted to say a big thank you as well. We've got I think that's it for now. Yeah, that's it for now. Anyways, any questions, anything I can do to help before we let you guys go?
Go enjoy your vacation.
I appreciate y'all. I'll give everybody a call when I get back.
Have fun in Paris, Josh.
Thank you so
anniversary.
much, Josh.
Safe
Have a
and
great
Thanks for a
day.
fun trip.
All the
Bye.
best to you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.